Fight for this love. Is this worth having? It's worth fighting for. Yeah, this is not worth having. It's not worth fighting for. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's doing okay and everyone is doing well. Before we get started, honey, happy Valentines Day. You guys already know. I said this last year and I'm going to say it again this year. Even if nobody told you that they love you today, I love you, but Jesus loves you more, period. But yeah, happy Valentine's, guys. I hope everyone had a lovely Valentine's Day. I need to quickly whiz through this review because I need to get ready the second this camera stops recording. And a lot for us to unpick and unpack because generally speaking, today's episode was a bit weird. Like the way the first half was compared to the last 15 minutes, there was is it just me? I felt like the transition between the moods and the energies and the vibes was very interesting. And yeah, let's get into it. So as I usually and always say, number one, if you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe and definitely join the family. You guys already know. Also be sure to follow me on my Instagram and also on my Twitter at SarahDestinyX. And number three, as I usually and always say, please to get cozy and comfy with a hot Ribena or some snacks or, you know, wherever you want. Let's get into today's review. So let us start off with Toby speaking to Anton about him and Chloe, essentially. He didn't say Chloe directly, but we all know that Toby and Chloe were together. And people were already speculating from yesterday's episode in the challenge when people were like, oh, Toby, who's most likely to cheat? And, you know, Toby was there. They voted Toby and Georgia S. He was very irritated. But in today's episode, he low-key kind of sort of confirms what a lot of people are thinking, i.e. that Chloe allegedly cheated on him. I'm not saying she did it because I wasn't there and I don't know. But from today's episode, you can definitely tell that Toby was pretty much instigating and kind of just clearing the facts. Like people kept calling me a cheater and, you know, like cheating messed me up. Like that's why we had to end the relationship because that hurt. He started crying. I can't lie. I did feel really bad for him because, you know, no one deserves to be cheated on and that can obviously hurt a lot of people as well. But yeah, he pretty much confirmed what a lot of people were thinking. Is Chloe going to speak on it? I don't know, but yeah. So moving on to Callum, Josh, Jess and Sophie speaking about the game playing questions and how much Georgia H was being annoying. Yeah, I'm gonna get into them later on anyway because Georgia H and Anton, their singlets get torn regardless. But I just feel like Josh was, in my opinion, Josh is the only one in that villa that is on smoke, i.e. he's the only one who can speak his mind and not care what anyone thinks about him. Everyone else, look around, everybody on mute, quiet. And in my personal opinion, I'm actually quite glad that Josh, even if the rest of them don't want to speak, I'm glad that Josh was actually the number one person saying, okay, well, this is what I've heard, this is what I've seen, and I'm just going to give you my 2 pence. I don't care if you don't want to hear it, I'm going to give it to you anyway. So we'll move on briefly to Georgia S speaking to Callum. This was kind of like a mini interlude. And she was just like, you know what, like, Cal, like, at the end of the day, you're supposed to be my mate in here, and the way everyone just keeps coming for me and Tobes, it's not okay. We're taking shot after shot after shot. And what made me laugh about the entire interaction was Callum basically said, I've heard you and there's no need for this conversation. Because I think even at one point, Georgia S was even just like, no, I need to tell you, Cal, I need to tell you because I need to try and rewire why you think that way about me and Tobes. Babe, it's actually it's actually okay. And that's actually what made me laugh because Callum pretty much said like, listen, I said what I said, that's what I perceived. And we don't actually need to have a discussion. And what was funny as well is you could also see that Georgia S, she kind of looked a bit flustered. Yeah, because you tried to drag this guy for an argument and he actually doesn't care to give you his time of day. So babe, rest, okay? He has an opinion, stop trying to change it. Now moving on to Josh and Georgia H, guys, it was really the blazer for me. It was the outfit. And I know Love Island is sponsored by eBay, but eBay doesn't necessarily have to look like charity clothes. I think some of them know how to piece the outfits. Maybe it was just a bad day, but that blazer with them tights, with those shoes, and then the purple, it was a lot. It was given reception year 4, year 5, coming to splash paint. Like the blazer was not given a thing. Okay, so you guys know I'll be picking up on things like that, but the blazer wasn't given. Let's call a spade a spade. But anyway, they were having a conversation and he was pretty much voicing his opinion and saying that, you know what, everyone has said this. You know, I'm not the only person who said this. Everyone said it, but I'm the only one who can tell you as your friends, like at the end of the day, yeah, we don't actually feel like you and Anton are as compatible as you try to make it out to seem. Of course, you guys know Georgia H started crying and I just don't really understand the vibe that her and Anton were going on throughout this episode because it was given, oh my gosh, we need to really fight. You know that song, we gotta fight for this love. Is this worth having? It's worth fighting for. Yeah, this is not worth having. It's not worth fighting for because we can all read through you. And it's given like the tears are trying to distract us. Like, no, I want you guys to see that I really like him. You shouldn't be so emotional over this. If you like him so bad, why do you guys care about the other opinions of people in the villa? Like, they're really trying to convince people, like, oh my gosh, why do you think I like him? Because we know that you don't. What's not clicking, babes, okay? I don't know why she's trying to convince everyone. She needs to convince herself and let it go, okay? Of course, you know that Anton and Georgia H now ended up having a conversation about it, and she was like, you know, it was the Delulu speaking for me, because she was just like, oh, I just feel like they don't want us together. And Anton was like, yeah, they don't want us together. He was even asking for her opinion. And what was really weird was, even when he asked her for her opinion, she was just like, you know, with everyone having an opinion on us, Anton, it just makes me wonder, are they seeing something that I'm not seeing? No, babe, you see it too, but there's no one else in the villa that you can cling on to. Like, it's not rocket science. By the time Casey came back into the villa and he told you he didn't want to chat to you anymore because you were interacting with you know what and when, all of a sudden, back to Anton. Oh yeah, me and Anton, me and this, me and that. But it's not given that, and it hasn't given that since you guys even got together. But obviously, Anton is completely head over heels for you, babe. So you're just trying to also convince yourself so that you can also have a storyline in the villa as well. But of course, Anton was saying that he feels like Josh is trying to bring them down as a couple, and we're stronger than this. Once again, the Delulu is really speaking for me. I don't understand why they're trying so hard to try and convince themselves. Talkers are trying to convince other people. Talkers are trying to convince the public. It don't make no sense. But they just don't think you guys work, guys. And it's literally just that simple. Now, of course, prior to the palaver, Anton and Callum were talking, and Callum pretty much said the same thing, that it's not about them as a couple, but it's also about her feelings towards him. And they just kind of feel like her feelings towards him are quite inconsistent, which is something that Anton also picked up himself yesterday. So I don't understand why today he's acting like it's a problem that people have deeped, what everyone can see. Anyway, that went all over his head, because he said he feels like people are trying to tarnish their relationship. And he said one line, which I had to write down verbatim, guys. Okay. He said, she's the janitor that opens the door every day. They need to let this go. She's the janitor that opens the door every single day. Like, oh yeah, she's been there for me. People haven't seen it. You know, she's the janitor that opens the door every... Oh gosh, guys. The first half of this episode actually stressed me out. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Now, last but not least, before we get into the big palaver, Georgia H and Anton were now talking, and she said that everyone is talking, and that, you know, I think we should gather everyone around the fire pit. So Anton now gets up, or guy on top, gets up and says, can everyone gather around the fire pit immediately? Who is who is talking? Who and who is talking? Who and who is talking? Who and who is talking? And this, it just goes back to the points that I've been saying in all of my other reviews, guys. And that's why I haven't actually changed my tune. I've been singing this since them two even got together. You guys are trying to convince other people that you work. Why not try and convince yourselves? Why do you care so much about the opinions of other people who didn't vote for you, by the way? The public voted, and they had to come to a conclusion. So if you have beef, maybe take up with the public when you come out of the villa. But you basically come in to say like, oh yeah, everyone got around the fire pit. I feel like I want to address this with everyone here right now. I heard people have been talking. And in that situation, you know, they were just like, Georgia H was a bit weird in it with it, because you move like Josh is your friend, but why would you call him out in the midst of an entire fire pit? Why wouldn't you just pull him to the side? But anyway, Josh was given the opportunity to speak, and Josh was like, yeah, like at the end of the day, I've thought of it. I'm not the only one thinking it. I've heard it as well. Then Anton now goes one by one. Everyone, oh yeah, say your piece. Have you thought of it? Have you thought of it? Have you thought of it? Majority of them were literally acting like wimps, and I don't know why everyone was so scared to speak up, because you guys have been having sideline conversations about Anton and Georgia H. Josh basically got up out of annoyance, and I don't blame him. He just said, listen, I'm not making this up, and I'm not the only one, but this is complete rubbish and nonsense. Like, it's nonsense. And I love the fact that Sophie, even when, you know, she went to go back, her man, Sophie was like, you know what, like, if you wanted to speak to him, you could have spoke to him privately. We're not 2-year-olds to be gathered around a fire pit. Yeah, it's true. We're not 2-year-olds. And on top of that, you're not going to interrogate me about my opinion. Like, I actually don't care in the nicest way possible. I don't care. And I feel like Georgia H is just upset because she feels like everyone has clocked her, and she's really trying hard to fight for this love, but it generally isn't that deep. So yeah, that was the first half. So as you can see, quite high. Tensions were quite high in the first half. Now the second half, the following day, of course, they had their brief morning chats, but main gist was the girls end up getting a text that it was Valentines, because you guys know, apparently Love Island is filmed in real time. I'm not sure how true that is, but maybe it is, because maybe today was also their Valentine's as well. What made me scream was, I think Tom was like, what happened to man times? I don't know, make it. Okay. Valentine's is for the girls. If the man didn't want to do something, let's think of something. But of course, prior to going into the girls type of brunch, we'll quickly speak about Josh and Toby. And he was pretty much saying that they are alike because they say it as it is. And at the end of the day, if you're comfortable in your relationship, you won't need acceptance. Oh, sorry, I thought I saw a spider. You won't need acceptance from anyone else in the villa. And I 100% agree. It is what it is. Like, you won't need acceptance. And I won't lie, guys, I low-key want Josh and Sophie to be my winners because they seem to be the most real and level-headed in that villa. But we also know that Josh and Anton pretty much ended up having a conversation, and they also ended up hashing it out as well. So I guess bros just being bros. Now, briefly moving on to the girls' brunch. Number one, I wrote the lack of melanin actually sucks in that villa. Like, the diversity this season has been so telling and so interesting. But anyway, we know that Sophie and Georgia H ended up having a conversation, and she said that, you know, at the end of the day, when me and Anton first started talking, like, I won't lie to you, Soph, like, obviously there wasn't anything there, but as time has gone on, we've honestly just gotten stronger and stronger, and I just wish that everyone in the villa could see that. And Sophie was like, it's not that no one else can see that in the villa, but at the end of the day, Josh is an honest person, and he's one of the most honest people in the villa, and I won't lie, I have to stick by him because I also agree with what he's saying as well. Oops, sipsy. But that was that. Of course, Molly, Georgia still, and or George, shall I say, and Arabella was speaking about how she feels about everything that happened with Toby, and then Arabella was also speaking about her and Adam being very, very compatible. The chat seemed a bit forced, if I'm going to be honest with you, only because we know that those three aren't the besties in the villa, but they ended up having a hug, like a group hug or whatever, and I think George was like, I love you girls, I love you. But I didn't see the, yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Sorry, guys, I'm speaking really fast because I really need to rush this review. Okay, cool. Now, of course, you know that the guys end up getting a text that they needed to prepare something for their girls, and there was teddies, there was balloons, there was red and pink and white, and it was really cute, I won't lie. And guys, I'm a huge lover girl, okay? I love love. I love experiencing love. I love seeing love. I love people being celebrated, and I felt like that scene itself was really cute. Was it necessary for us to watch? I don't think so, but it was really cute to see the efforts that they were going to for all of their couples. And to be honest, the setups were cute. I mean, it really is the little things. Of course, all of them and their couples were speaking about how happy they were. Adam ended up giving a poem to Arabella. I noted that down because finally, she is not the one grafted. And I said this in yesterday's review, and I think I said it on Sundays, and I have been saying it since Adam entered the villa. Arabella flirts way too soon. She lays it on way too thick, and she doesn't give guys the opportunity to chase her. So I'm glad today we were able to see Adam actually write a note for her, even though he only arrived 4 days ago. Is it 4 days? People love quickly, because they be acting like they're soulmates. I don't know, maybe they are. But yeah, it's actually only been 4 days, and Arabella is head over heels, and yeah, I'm just glad that finally she's letting someone chase her. Of course, Anton and Georgia H, he wanted to do a Love Island experience meditation with her. I guess that was thoughtful based on her nature with being, you know, quite spiritual, whatever that means for her anyway, and for different people. And all I could say was that he really likes that babe. Anton really likes her, and it's not like I'm jinxing it or trying to curse them or anything like that, but they're not going to last on the outside because Georgia H is just not as into Anton as much as he is into her. And I know I did say it as well, that I said in one of my reviews that in order for relationships to work, I genuinely feel like guys have to like the girl more. That only works if the girl somewhat likes him, and I feel like Georgia may be able to tolerate Anton, but I don't think she likes him to that extent. And of course, Toby and Georgia, they ended up, he shared a card with her, sorry, and it mentioned his famous line, you know, fortune favors the brave. And of course, initially, they had a conversation about being, did I say initially or initially? I think I just said initially, so sorry. Initially, they did have a conversation about them being exclusive based on all of the things that they've had to go through in the villa. I swear, they be acting like they've created World War III and they've come back the strongest soldiers, honestly. But he was like, you know, from that conversation, I kind of figured that we were exclusive. And then she also said as well, like, yeah, like I also thought that as well. And then at the end, he said, do you want to be locked in? And they ended up sharing a kiss. So I'm not sure if that means that they are exclusive or they're girlfriend and boyfriend. Because you guys know in Love Island, exclusive and girlfriend and boyfriend are two different things, okay? Two different things. So yeah, that is that. But overall, guys, I have been asking you guys in some of our most recent reviews, like, who do you actually want to win? And generally speaking, I feel like Sophie and Josh are my winners. I'll be honest with you. I want Sophie and Josh to win because I feel like, yeah, I don't know, they seem the most real to me in that villa compared to everyone else. And if not Sophie and Josh, maybe Tom and Molly. I do like Callum and Jester, I won't lie. I really like Callum anyway. Who else is in that villa? Georgia and Anton, definitely not. George and Tobes, definitely not. And who else is there in that villa? I hope I haven't forgotten anyone, because then it might seem like I'm being rude. Oh, Arabella and Adam. Almost forgot them. They're not winning. So yeah, let me know down below who you think is actually going to win. But yeah, I think that's all of it for today, guys. Not really a long review, because today's episode, like I said, the extremes were just so insane and there isn't really much to discuss. But as always, I love to know what you guys actually think in the comments. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe and if you're joining the family, and also be sure to follow me on my Instagram and also on my Twitter. But other than that, guys, I want to wish you a lovely evening. Have a lovely Valentine's. Valentine is coming. Yeah, have lovely Valentine's, guys, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye.